Class 9, welcome to your geography class. Wasting no time, let's begin our class with a very interesting chapter, chapter number 6, Rocks. So in this chapter, you will be learning about the rocks, different kinds of rocks, as well as the rocks composition and rock cycle. So it's going to be very interesting class. So let's begin. Our earth is made up of both minerals as well as rocks, right? So rocks, we know it's a hard portion of the earth's surface which is present on the lithosphere, that is rocks, right? So as I told you in the earlier class also, lithosphere is what? Lithosphere is generally formed by a hard rocks, right? So earth is made up of rocks as well as minerals also, right? So the rocks forming the crust of the earth are in solid state, solid form. They are hard. Any mass of harder portion of the earth's crust can be called as a rock, right? They make up the most of the solid materials of the lithosphere. A rock can be defined as the aggregate of minerals. So rocks can be also defined as the aggregate of minerals. It has no definite composition. Most of the rocks are the mixture of various minerals in different proportions. Okay. Rocks may be hard or soft. A mineral is a natural occurring substance having a definite chemical composition and physical properties. So we come to know about the rocks. Rocks is a hard substance, a harder portion of the earth's crust is defined as rocks. It has no definite chemical composition. It has no definite composition, right? And rock can be defined as an aggregate of minerals. Whereas minerals is what? Minerals are what? Minerals is a mineral is a natural occurring substance having a definite chemical composition as well as what? As well as physical properties, right? So a rock having a large proportion of a single mineral is called an ore of that mineral. Magnetite, for example, magnetite is an ore of iron, is an example of such rock. So if we need to take out iron ore, so iron ore will extract out magnetite. Why? Because magnetite is ore of iron. So from that we can extract out iron, right? Now mining is an important activity where such ores are found. Other examples like bauxite is an ore of aluminium. So to extract out aluminium, we need to extract bauxite, because from bauxite we'll get aluminium, right? Okay. And for copper, to extract copper, we need to extract out copper pyrites. So copper pyrites is a ore of copper. So these are the examples of ores, right? Write some examples of the ores like hematite and magnetite. These are the iron ores, right? So these are the iron ores from where we can extract out ions, right? Hematite and magnetite. Copper pyrites, we can extract out copper. So copper pyrite is what? Copper pyrite is the ore of copper. Next example I've given you, bauxite. So bauxite is the aluminium ore. So from bauxite we can extract out aluminium. So these are the examples of ore, right? Okay. And we know that ore is what? Ore is A rock having a large proportion of a single mineral is called an ore, right? Okay, so, and these are the examples of ore. Copper, this bauxite, copper pyrites, hematite, magnetite, these are the examples of ore. Now let's move to the next topic, that is types of rocks. So we know that there are three kinds of rocks. So the rocks can be categorized into three groups: igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic rocks. So let's have a detailed study about these three rocks. So on the basis of their mode of formations, rocks can be categorized into three groups: igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, and metamorphic rocks. So let's study about the igneous rocks. So we know that igneous means ignis. This igneous word has been derived from Latin word ignis, which means fire. So ignis, I-G-N-I-S, ignis. That means, this is the Latin word that means fire, right? So this is the rocks which is formed by solidification and cooling of magma or lava, right? Okay, the term igneous comes from the Latin word ignis, and which means fire. Igneous rocks are those which have solidified from the molten material or the lava ejected from the interior of the earth. Due to high temperature in the interior of the earth, the rocks are in a molten state. This molten material is called magma. Magma is ejected from the interior of the earth to the surface through the volcanic activity. The volcanic material may be in a solid or liquid state. Volcanic material deposited on the surface of the earth is called lava. Igneous rocks are formed through deposition and solidification of volcanic material. Igneous rocks are of thermal origin. Why thermal? Because of heat. Thermal means temperature. That is why it is of thermal origin. It is originated because of intense heat, intense temperature inside the earth's surface. That is why igneous is what? It's of thermal origin. Since they were the first rocks to be formed, igneous rocks is also known as primary rocks, right? Igneous rocks are generally hard, have no layers, and do not contain fossils. Most of them, besides being crystalline, are impervious, means no pores, no holes. Water can be percolate through them. That means water cannot percolate through them because they are impervious, because they have no pores, no holes. These rocks are further divided into extrusive and intrusive igneous rocks. Now let's I'll explain you through the diagram that how igneous rocks formed. So igneous means ignis means fire, right? So fire means, we know inside the earth's surface there is intense heat and intense enormous pressure. So we know the liquid, this molten material which is inside the earth's surface, that is in liquid state, right? So liquid state, we call it inside the earth surface. The molten material, we called it magma, right? And when it ejected out, out on the earth's surface after solidification and cooling of that lava, a rock is formed which is known as igneous rocks, right? Lava. So here's a difference between magma and lava. So magma means what? Magma is that molten material which is inside the earth's surface, and lava is that molten material which after the volcanic activity it ejects out, and that molten material which ejects out during the volcanic activity is known as lava, right? So or we can also define it as magma is inside the earth's surface, right? That molten material which is inside the earth's surface, and lava is that molten material which which is on the earth surface, which is outside the earth surface, right? Outside the earth surface, that material, that molten material which is outside the earth surface is lava. Now from this we can categorize igneous rocks in two types, right? One is intrusive igneous rocks, and the another one is extrusive igneous rocks or rock. So igneous rocks itself further divided into two types. First is intrusive igneous rocks and the second one is extrusive igneous rocks. Now what is intrusive? So from the word only, from that intrusive, that word only we come to know intrusive means inside the earth surface. So we'll use the term magma because magma is inside the earth surface. We'll not use lava. So what we'll say are intrusive igneous rocks means when this magma inside the earth surface cools and solidifies, forms a rock, that is known as intrusive igneous rocks, inside intrusive igneous rocks. Whereas extrusive igneous rocks, that means when lava, we'll use the word lava because lava, I told you, outside the earth surface during volcanic activity, right? So lava will use an extrusive igneous rocks. When lava solidifies and cools down, it forms a rock, that is extrusive igneous rocks, that is outside the earth surface. That is extrusive igneous rocks. Intrusive, inside the earth surface, magma solidifies and cools and forms a rock, that is intrusive igneous rocks. So this is igneous rocks and the varieties of igneous rocks, that is intrusive and extrusive rocks. Clear? Okay, now let's move to the examples of the igneous rocks. Okay, examples are like your granite, basalt, your rhyolite and gabbro. These are the examples of igneous rocks. Now let's talk about basalt. I gave you the example of basalt. Basalt is extrusive igneous rocks. So extrusive igneous rocks, that means that basalt is formed due to solidification and cooling of lava. That is basalt, extrusive igneous rocks. Now the best example is Deccan Trap. So Deccan Trap, the whole peninsular India, which is also known as Deccan Trap, is formed by this process, extrusive. So we call it extrusive igneous rocks. Deccan Trap region of peninsular India. Okay, now whereas granite is what? Granite is intrusive igneous rock, right? Okay. Now let's talk about the characteristics of igneous rocks. We know igneous rock, that is thermal, that is of thermal origin, right? So it is hard, massive and compact. Secondly, it is impervious. There is no pore or no holes, right? So it is impervious. And these rocks are formed by cooling and hardening of the earth material, and size of the rocks depends upon the rate of cooling of lava or magma. And igneous rocks have no layers. So it is not, there is no layers found, right? And these rocks are not easily weathered because there are no pores, so water cannot easily enter. The rocks is highly impervious. So impervious means no pores, no hole. That is why water cannot percolate down, right? Because of that reason, these igneous rocks cannot be weathered easily, cannot be eroded easily, right? Okay, so they are hard, massive and impervious. And no fossils found, no layers, that means no fossils found, right? So these are the characteristics of igneous rocks. So let's move to the next type of rock, that is sedimentary rocks. Let's move to the next type of rock, that is sedimentary rock. So sedimentary rocks are formed by consolidation of accumulated sediments deposited in a huge depression, in a huge ditch like sea or lake, right? The sediments are derived by denudations of the rocks by agents, various agents of erosion like rivers, glaciers, winds, and waves. These agents of erosion carry the eroded particles of rocks to huge depressions and deposit them in layers. Such deposited material is called sediment. Sediment contains loose particles of gravel, sand, silt, and clay in various proportions. Over a period of time, a significant thickness of sediments accumulates and it gets consolidated or compacted to form hard rocks. The consolidation of sediments takes place due to pressure of overlying material and presence of cementing substances like lime. As they are formed through the process of sedimentation, the rocks formed in this manner are called sedimentary rocks, and they are also known as secondary rocks, because primary rocks is what? Primary rocks is igneous rocks. Or the derived rocks are as the material is derived from other rocks. These rocks are in fact known by various names, as most of the rock debris is deposited in water bodies. These rocks are also known as Argilacious rocks. The process of sedimentation continues for a long time, and the sediments are derived from different sources. As a result, these rocks have layers, due to which they are given named as a stratified or layered rocks. The particles in the sediments get sorted out in the water bodies according to their sizes. Generally, the larger particles form the lower layers, while the finer particles form upper layers. This sorting of sediments is also a cause of presence of layers or strata in the rocks formed through sedimentations. Okay, let's know about the formation of sedimentary rocks and why it is known as stratified rocks. Let's know about it in a very simple way, that let's suppose this is a rock, right? So here we have a ditch or depression, right? So what happens is, due to various agents like river or strong wind or your glaciers or heavy downpour, when it occurs, when it falls, then what happens is this rocks or this rock is tend to weathered, right? So this rock is tend to weather. That means it will at a certain point, and after some time the rocks will get weathered, and somewhere it is deposited like this, right? Again, after some time, again because of this erosional agent, again the rocks is being weathered, and after some time it again deposit the layer like this, right? Now again after some time, this erosional agent erodes the material from here and deposit here, right? So like this, these agents form a layers like this, right? So form a layers like this means over a period of time a significant thickness of sediments. So these are the sediments deposited by the erosional agents like rivers, strong winds, heavy downpour, glacier, etc. So these sediments are what? Accumulates and gets consolidated or compacted form, and this is known as a kind of rock form that is known as sedimentary rock. So this is derived from this rock. This sedimentary rock is derived from this rock. So that means primary rock. That is why this is sedimentary rock is known as secondary rock, right? And these are found in a layer. So these are the layers of sediments deposit. So we called it stratified or strata, right? So this is how sedimentary rocks form. Now, there is a very possibility of fossils to be found here, right? Because these are found in layers, strata. That is why there is much possibility of fossils to be found. Sedimentary rocks are like layered rocks, and strata are there. That is why much possibility of fossils, presence of fossils there, right? Whereas igneous rocks, they are formed due to cooling and solidification of lava or magma. That is why there are means there is no layer, no strata. That is why igneous rocks are deprived of fossils, right? So that's the main difference between igneous and sedimentary rocks, right? Okay, children, I'll take your leave now. Next class, I'll explain you the formation of metamorphic rocks, characteristics of metamorphic rocks, and rock cycle. And one more information I will tell you about that the site of petroleum and natural gas, which is not given in your book in this chapter, but I'll be giving you that information, right? So soon we'll meet in the next video. Till then, bye bye.